Today is Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Y'all, today is the third anniversary of Montgomery, Alabama River Walk Ass Whooping Day. We'll recount what took place 3 years ago. That's why I'm wearing this shirt right here. Hashtag Team Whip That Ass. Also, we'll break down Tuesday's primary results. Big win for Al Said in Michigan. Also, some primary races as well. A federal judge officially ends temporary protected status for Haitians. Now, the Trump administration can move forward with efforts to remove more than 350,000 Haitians who have been living and working legally in the United States. North Carolina family is pleading for help after the patriarch suffers a stroke while in ICE custody. Florida's white Attorney General James Uthmeier is going after a black federal judge. He's asking congressional leaders to open an impeachment inquiry into Judge Nancy Abudu for her prior work for the Southern Poverty Law Center, which was recently indicted for fraud involving donor money. We'll talk to the black man who two white women harassed for his ID at a suburban Chicago hotel swimming pool. Also, we'll discuss the surge in data centers, how it is worsening electricity costs for black families and leading to some evictions. Also, a black woman who has been the seamstress for the Blue Angels for the last 43 years has essentially been fired by the Defense Department. They've given the contract at $1.2 million to a company out of Virginia, and she's literally based in Pensacola, Florida, where the Blue Angels are located. Just the latest Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump war on Black America. Folks, it is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the fine. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
GOP stingers, GOP stinger, GOP stinger. Donald Trump's war on Haitian immigrants is complete. That's right, a federal judge has now allowed the temporary protected status to officially end. Ended today for roughly 350,000 Haitians, ending their protection from deportation and their authorization to work in the United States. The change following the Supreme Court's June 25th decision allowing Donald Trump to move forward with ending Haiti's TPS designation after months of legal challenges. The Trump administration says conditions in Haiti no longer justify the humanitarian program, which was first granted after the country's devastating 2010 earthquake. Now, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about because it's even worse. The change leaves thousands of Haitian families facing an uncertain future as Haiti continues to grapple with widespread gang violence and political instability. The Department of Homeland Security maintains that temporary protected status was never intended to become a permanent immigration program. Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley released this statement. The termination of temporary protected status for our Haitian and Syrian neighbors will devastate our communities, bulldoze our economy, traumatize our children, and separate families who call this country home. The occupant of the Oval Office has decided he gets to act as judge, jury, and executioner to hundreds of thousands of innocent people who have done nothing but seek refuge, strengthen our communities, and bolster our economy. TPS is not only an essential lifeline for those who had to flee countries in crisis, but also for Americans. Businesses will be forced to close from losing their staff. Now, local economies will suffer. Seniors and their families will lose their caregivers as we face a caregiving crisis. Children will lose their classmates and their friends. America will lose the talent, skills, and culture that our immigrant neighbors contribute every day. That's why the Senate must immediately pass our legislation to save lives and extend TPS for Haiti, which passed out of the House earlier this year. To our many TPS holders in the Massachusetts 7th and throughout the country from Haiti, Syria, Venezuela, Honduras, and other nations, your worth is not defined by the cruelty of this White House or Supreme Court. Your humanity, your dignity, and your lives matter. This nation is better because of you, and I will do everything in my power to support you and your families. The reality is these people do not care. They are careless. It was Adam Sir with The Atlantic who said cruelty is the point. He was talking about, of course, Donald Trump and this Supreme Court, like Selma Alito, allowing it to happen. And so they don't care. They don't listen to Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, Republican, who's talked about the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. The reason Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley is so concerned is because of the role that many Haitian immigrants play in the healthcare nursing industry there in Boston and in Massachusetts. But again, what these folks want, what Stephen Miller wants, what Donald Trump wants, what Peter Hegseth wants, what they want is a white America. They only want white people in this country. They don't care if they actually rip apart families. They don't care if they send people back to countries where they have not lived for 10, 15 years. They don't care if they go back to horrid conditions. They don't care if they go back and end up being killed. Because for them, America has always been for white people. My panel, Rebecca Carruthers, President, CEO of Fair Election Center, joining us from D.C., Robert Patillo, civil rights attorney in the Patillo Law Firm out of Atlanta, Dr. Derek Jackson, state representative out of Georgia, joining us from Atlanta as well. Glad to have all three of you here. Robert, I'll start with you. My point is, listen, it's about white. It's about whiteness. It's about white supremacy. It's about white nationalism. If they could get rid of every black American, trust me, Donald Trump would ship us anywhere out of this country.
And, that's the amazing thing. And as the resident Haitian here on the panel, I think it's important for us to understand that President Trump has made it very clear that he does not care about the ongoings or what happens with other communities, other groups, and other ethnic organizations. President Trump has made it clear that all that he cares about is what happens for J.D. Vance, the Christian nationalist, and the white supremacist power structure. So for Haitian Americans, I think that it's important for us to now start buttressing ourselves together, coming together economically, coming together socially. We've all often had different ties and different divisions within even our communities that have pulled us apart. We now see there's a white supremacist power structure that wants nothing more than not just the destruction of Haitians here in America, but the destruction of Haitians on the island itself. And with that, we have to build up ourselves. We can no longer depend or even hope for the acquiescence of the same people who have historically sought to dismantle all of our institutions, to dismantle our society, and to dismantle us as a people. So now is the time to come together to build strong and to say, how can we rebuild Haiti? Despite the strong power, despite what's been going on overseas, what can we do to build up our homeland? Because we are entering into a section of world history very similar to 1919, very similar to the nationalistic ideologies, where you're seeing Great Britain, the European powers, close their borders. We're seeing America close their borders. We are buttressing together, and what's going to matter are those nationalistic and historic ties. And now is the time to rebuild and build together a society, because if we do not do so, and we're still at the whims of other groups, we will find ourselves destroyed as other groups did historically.
The thing here, to the point that Robert just made there, Rebecca, and when you look at what's happening, again, I spend lots of time looking at world news. And people have to understand, in the last 10, 15 years, the fights that we see now happening in the United States have been happening in Europe, have been happening in France, have been happening in those countries. One of the reasons why many of those countries are lurching to the right is because they are appealing to nativists and using nativist language to appeal to them. But I'm going to say this again, and maybe some folk don't want to just come to this reality and don't want to accept this reality, and that is this. White people ain't having babies. The fertility rate across the world is dropping. And Elon Musk is always talking about this. He's always tweeting about this here. And so they're not making new white people. The population growth in the world is being driven by Africa. And the thing, Rebecca, all of these people, all of these right-wingers have to also come to grips with the United States, France, England, Germany, all of these colonizers. They destroyed these countries. So they infiltrated these countries. They slept with the women in these countries. They took over. Oh, so now y'all are mad at the folk y'all went into their countries. Now y'all are mad they now showing up on your doorsteps. You caused this. Rebecca, you on mute? We can't hear you.
There are a few reasons why Black folks in this country have to deeply care about the plight of the Haitians and the removal of this designation. Going back historically and understand that it was the Haitians that led the first African rebellion against the West, against the colonizers.
Rebecca, hold on. We're having a serious echo with you, so I want to fix that. Derek, your thoughts?
Yeah, so listen, Roland, here we go again. This is another classic example that we continue to hear from these individuals who do not understand how the system works. When someone says the TPS was meant to be temporary, the T in TPS is temporary, right? So by them targeting these 350,000 Haitians, by them losing their legal protection, with the end of TPS, that would negatively impact 190,000 active workers in our healthcare, in our agriculture, in our textiles. And then not only that, these Haitians are contributing. They're taxpayers. Let's talk about that. $5.9 billion. I did the research. It says $5.9 billion of these 350,000 Haitians are contributing. And then the last point I would make is this. As you've already stated about the governor of Ohio. The governor of Ohio, they intentionally went after this community to help save Springfield. Springfield is a municipality that was dying on the vine. They brought in about 15,000 Haitians and their families, which bolstered this municipality. And now Springfield was thriving and surviving until all this came about. This attack against Haitians is just ridiculous on its face. And so this, to me, in my humble opinion, is a civil rights attack. When you go after Haitians, they're also going after all of us. And so I have to look at this as an attack on our civil rights.
Absolutely. Hopefully we got Rebecca fixed. Rebecca, go ahead. Okay, Rebecca is not fixed, so let me know when we have Rebecca back. You know, the thing here is, and again, listen, I know that there are a number of our folk, who are anti-immigrant. But I'm just gonna keep telling y'all over and over and over again. That you can say that, but you need to understand what's really going on in this country and how these things are going to impact us economically. Rebecca, go ahead.
Thank you, Roland. I think it's very important for folks in this country, especially Black folks in this country, including people like me whose family has been in this country for centuries, to understand the role of the Africans in Haiti, the Haitians, and how important they are to this hemisphere. It was the Africans in Haiti who led the first successful rebellion against the colonizers, against Europe, against the imperialists, in the fight against African chattel slavery in this hemisphere. And it's very important because ever since 1804, there has been a concerted effort to break the backs and to continually break the backs of Africans in Haiti, the Haitians. And so I think that's very important just to lay out, because there's a lot of discussions on the first 250 years in America, with America as a country, and what the next 250 years look like. If we're actually going to have the final confrontation with white supremacy, if we're actually going to put white supremacy in the ground to forever not pop up again, we have to understand, like, through the movements of Africans in this hemisphere, where we've been successful, and we have to build off of that legacy. So it's very important to understand the moral argument of supporting Haitians in America, the moral argument of pushing back against this administration. Because the only reason why this administration is targeting Haitians in this country is because they are Black. Even though there's differences in culture, cool, got it. But we are all Africans on this continent. And we have to understand that aspect of solidarity if we're going to defeat white supremacy, if we're going to defeat modern colonialism, if we're going to defeat modern imperialism.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks, let me go to a break. We come back. Lots more to break down here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, right here on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games. And people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know Black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with Black men for Black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand, so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
I'm Ryan Wilson, CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
If you want to understand how heinous these people are, folks, a black woman from Raleigh, North Carolina is speaking out as her father has been in custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Cary, North Carolina for more than 2 weeks. She's pleading for assistance, claiming her father is being neglected and mistreated while in custody.
My name is Gabri Johnson, and 16 days ago, ICE came to my childhood home in Cary, North Carolina, and took my 55-year-old father, who has legally had status in this country since he was 15 years old. They have, for the last 16 days, refused to give him food and water consistently. He's begged for his stroke medication. We filed an emergency stay of removal so that he could be here for the next 3 to 6 months just to get his health in order, and they said no. This morning, on July 30th, my father called us at 6:45 a.m. sounding weak, and he said they've not been giving me food or water. They make me sit up with shackles on my hands and feet. Jesus Christ, I got a call from the hospital in Texas today saying that my father was rushed there after having a stroke. Like, he's been telling them, give me my medication, give me food, give me water, help me just sleep for 16 days. They laughed at him. They refused. My father had a stroke in the left side of his body, is completely paralyzed right now. ICE is fully responsible for this. He cannot stay in their custody any longer. The nurse gave them my phone, my dad was able to tell them with the weak right side of his body my phone number that he remembered by heart, and I said no, he can't talk to his daughter. He might tell you what hospital room he's in. That is how dire this situation is. This is not love, this is not care, this is not America, it's torture, and they're trying to not only take people out of their homes and break up families, they're trying to kill them on the way there. Please, if anybody is within the state of Texas or works in immigration law and reform, I will do anything. Just please help bring my father back home to Cary, North Carolina.
These are not pro-life people, Derek. These people are evil, they are heinous, and they really do not care if these people die in custody.
You know, this breaks my heart in so many ways because when a pastor has a stroke inside an ICE facility because they ignored his medical needs. This is far from law enforcement. This is a human rights issue. And the reason why this breaks my heart because before getting on the show here, Roland, I just learned that the Abraham Lincoln, an aircraft carrier, our national asset with 5,000 sailors and officers, they've been on deployment for 9 months and they don't have food. They have poor living conditions on an aircraft carrier. And so not only this situation when a pastor has a stroke inside of an ICE facility, but this is just a small little piece of a macro issue why they don't care. They don't care about Haitians. They don't care about pastors. They don't care about sailors. They don't care about Americans. They don't care. They do not care. 18 million children in this country are living without SNAP benefits because of the big ugly bill. Tens of thousands of citizens abroad.
Here, so Rebecca,
Lack care,
right?
Because they removed $48 billion from USAID. So this is just another example, right. Roland.
So
that they do not care.
So Rebecca, again, these ICE detention centers, they're on American soil. And their whole attitude is let them rot.
And Roland, respectfully to that young woman, this is America. And so as I talk about solidarity of Black folks, of those of African descent in this country, if you are newer to this country and you were told the whitewashed version of this country, I'm here to tell you this is America. Cruelty is the point. Yep. Fascism, racism is fascism. Fascism is extension of racism. And so folks have to understand this is America. So we have to figure out, are we going to be in solidarity or not? What is the next 250 years going to look like? Because it can't look like this year and it can't look like the preceding 249 years.
Absolutely. Robert?
Roland, as the piece was playing, I thought to myself, my mother's a U.S. citizen now, but what would happen if she was taken into ICE custody and mistreated in the way that the people in the piece were mistreated their parents? There would be a little hell to pay in this country unknown to mankind, and I understand that from me. Right? I would not mind dying if it meant freeing my mother, or if it meant my mother had to have more than 3 to 4, 5 seconds of inconvenience. I would not care about dying on that hill either. So what happens when millions of people who have the same mentality of me come together? What happens when you hit that nucleation point where folks simply say, I'm not going to have press conferences, I'm not going to talk anymore, I'm going to break my mama out of the ICE facility? So America is sitting, as Malcolm X said, on a powder keg. We are depending on the goodwill and good graces of individuals to not start a situation where America cannot handle those things. We've already seen in Iran, in the Straits of Hormuz, America cannot handle external threats to its hegemony. What happens when there are internal threats to that same hegemony? So I would recommend for our friends on the conservative side of the aisle, do not depend on the well wishes and the nice feelings of groups towards the U.S. government when it comes to people's families, to people's parents, to people's children. Because once you unleash that powder keg on America, there's not really a good way to close that powder keg back up. So when we're talking about these issues, we can both have strong borders, strong laws, and compassion and human rights. We can both understand that we have to enforce the laws that exist, but also that human beings have human nature that exists within them. And if we fail to do so, we will begin to see the destruction of a nation, as we've seen so many times internationally, happen right here in the United States of America. So for the preservation of this union, I would compel and pray to our MAGA friends to understand that if this was your mother, if these were your children, if this was your wife or your brother, and you have been saying for your entire life, give me liberty or give me death, at some point in time, people will choose death. And we are not prepared as a nation for that moment.
Folks, talk about data centers. They're significantly driving up, according to critics, driving up utility costs for black households. According to the Century Foundation, residential electricity rates have increased by 18% since January 2025. This increase has especially impacted black folks in the South because several new data centers built across majority black areas are increasing the electric demand. To combat spiking rates, Georgia state regulators have significantly increased consumer utility bills, causing frustration among many black residents and leading to evictions. Corey Morgan is Climate Justice Manager of 9 to 5 Georgia. 9 to 5 was created in 1973 by clerical workers to respond to the inequities, unfairness, and outright harassment and discrimination they were experiencing in the workplace. So Corey, glad to have you here. Walk us through, how did y'all lay this out, study this to understand what the impact has been on black folks?
Yes, sir. Roland, good to see you, brother. Good to see folks across the world. 9 to 5 has been organizing around utility justice and environmental justice work since 2019. And some deep study.
Okay, folks.
Utilities.
Okay, hold up. Hold tight 1 second. Hold up 1 second, Corey. Go ahead and start over because you froze there, but go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Happy to see you all. Good to see you, Brother Roland. 9 to 5 has been organizing around utilities justice since 2019 here in the state of Georgia. A lot of work went into an early report on utility impacts in Albany, Georgia, and really in the state where a lot of local control is put in place for municipal owned utilities. And so a lot of deep study. Shout out to Dr. James Pratt, Anna Faroki, Albany City Commissioners as well. So we've really been studying the local control piece. MEAD directly connects with Georgia Power, the state's entity, and who has really allowed a lot of the rollout of the data centers that we're now seeing take place across Southwest Georgia.
And so, how many data centers did you look at, and where are they located? Are they in rural areas? And give us a sense of the population of those areas. Are they majority African American, mostly African American? Are they a little less than a majority?
Yes, sir. So we case study Metro Atlanta area where the discussion really began. Fayetteville, Georgia had quite a few in the metro area around East Point. So we began to look at those once we got word that they were coming to Southwest Georgia. Southwest Georgia is in the belt, the black belt of Georgia, and it is majority black in most counties and cities. We're looking at now in Early County, where they are 70% black. There has been a very large facility proposed and planned called Project Blue Hole. And we're continually to monitor facilities and proposals that are happening in Mitchell County, where a power plant that is set to potentially serve the power and the battery storage needed for future proposed data center sites in our region. But to answer that question, each community here in Southwest Georgia is majority minority. And so these impacts are going to have a very high cost on a lot of black families and working class folks in this region.
Eric, I'll go to you first. You're a state representative there in Georgia. How is the legislature dealing with this issue of data centers and utility rates of residents?
You know, unfortunately, Roland, we're not dealing with it. I mean, the center that Corey is referencing, QTS, is in my district. It's the largest data center in the United States. And the reason why the Georgia General Assembly is not looking at it, because of the billions and billions of dollars promised. We have incentives that allows for these data centers to continue to come on in. I was just looking it up. We got 67 data centers right now that's currently in the pipeline. We already have 200 data centers here in Georgia. The breakdown is 45% of them are in the urban areas, 40% in the suburban areas, and 25% are in the rural areas. And so when you look at that, it's going to impact the entire state. It's going to impact potentially our healthcare, our rising energy costs, and water consumption. And so the Georgia General Assembly continue to have a blind eye because they've incentivized this with the goal of being able to leverage billions and billions of dollars from these data centers.
Robert.
You know, on this point, one of the things I think that many people don't realize is just the environmental cost that these centers have. It's not just water. It's not just destroying communities. Can you talk a little bit about the just sheer environmental costs that these have for neighborhoods? A good friend of mine, Daniel Blackman, he's worked for the Obama EPA, Glenn Keith Flemings. They've been talking about this for decades at this point in time. Can you talk about these brownfields and this idea of environmental racism and the fact that they are putting these things in African American communities and not other low-income communities?
Corey? Corey, that question was
Yes,
for you.
Sir. And again, that is what we're seeing here in Southwest Georgia.
Okay.
And another issue
hold, Corey. For some reason you froze again. You said that's what we're seeing in Southwest Georgia. Go ahead, pick it up from there.
Yes, sir. That is what we're seeing and battling in Southwest Georgia. Another large issue with this is the transparency issue, even from the local officials that are overseeing these processes. We're seeing development authority representatives and even county commissioners fail to be transparent and give communities enough notice. Right now, there's a lot of pushback in Mitchell County, Georgia, with the proposed 1,500 megawatt power plant facility that is being brought forth by Next Era Energy, one of the largest energy corporations on this side. And they're also going through, Next Era is going through a historic merger with Dominion Energy. And again, commissioners, authority members have been exposed. We've pulled open records requests where these government entities, public officials, have said in email that we don't want this to get out to the public yet, and we know why. We showed up 150 plus residents at the last two meetings of this body, and this is exactly why they've lacked the transparency. They did not want folks to know. They just want to rush these projects through and take on much of the incentives that they've been promised by these corporations.
Rebecca.
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I've been having conversation with different Black folks across the country about data centers. There are some folks like me that are strongly concerned about the privacy issues, especially understanding that Flock is collecting the data on us and it's being housed at these data centers. There's, of course, the environmental issues. But some of the pushback that I've heard is folks asking whether or not if the true issue is that these data centers aren't being built to be sustainable. Instead, they're just being built and they're violating Clean Skies Act, Clean Air Act, et cetera. Is that the issue, or can you explain the broader issue around data centers?
Absolutely. One of the biggest broader issues has been the impact that this is going to have on the natural environment in Southwest Georgia. Secondly, it's really the lack of transparency from our government, from those that have been elected to really communicate and work with governments. My position that has really frustrated me in this process as a former city council member just is the lack of planning and sticking to comprehensive plans and involving community to really see what type of economic enhancements and incentives and development that communities want in their communities. Instead, it seems like we're just being given what's the next hot thing on the market instead of really taking some time to work deeply in community and really provide some tangible resources to our working class folks in Southwest Georgia.
Well, I keep seeing all of these stories about the billions they're spending and the job growth, and I can't really see a massive number of jobs. And that's, Derek, you're shaking your head. That's the thing for me. I don't get how you give massive tax breaks unless, look, how, to me, as somebody who's been a city hall reporter and a county government reporter when they do these things, typically what happens is if you give massive tax incentives, that's because that thing is going to produce 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 jobs. Those folks are going to be wage earners. They're going to be buying things, sales tax, restaurants, buying homes. And so you have this cumulative effect. I've seen some of these, Corey, where, data center is being built and it's going to be 60 jobs. And I'm like, what the hell?
Absolutely, Roland. And really, I want to point to the case study in Blakely, Georgia. We have a situation there where this community has lacked investment over the years. And this data center project by QTS is coming on the heels of one of their largest employers closing. It was a paper mill, and it closed, but it provided a great deal of jobs to that community. So I do understand their local government leaders wanting to get the economic flow back into their community. But we have to do this thing with intentionality and with some data and facts and really explore the truths of these projects and see how many tangible jobs are they going to bring to this community, and are there other clean energy jobs and manufacturing opportunities that we can bring to our communities instead that are going to provide gainful employment and are going to sustain wages and increase the quality of life for our residents.
Absolutely. Derek, you were shaking your head about these so-called economic benefits being promised.
Yeah, because not only they're basically lying. Let's just call it what it is. They're lying. Some of these data centers, Roland, you might have 60, period. And we're talking about 2 to 3 million square foot buildings, right? They're also incentivizing movie filming buildings to go from a movie studio and convert into a data center. So they're doing some insidious things here in Georgia, not just in Georgia, but in the South, predominantly in Black and brown communities from North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and they're starting with movie studios. They're saying, hey, the movie studios, if they are moving offshore and going to Australia or Europe, where have you, convert that big 40, 50,000 square foot building and convert that to a data center. That's what they're doing in the South. And Georgia is leading that ugly lie that they're going to create these jobs, tens of thousands of jobs, and they're far from it. It's about these bills that the Trump administration around big tech. And you have Amazon, you have Oracle, you have Microsoft, Google. They're all coming down in the southern states, and they're building these data center empires around AI and big data.
Absolutely. All right, Corey, we surely appreciate you joining us, man. Thanks a lot. Keep up the fight.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Folks, let's go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about last night's elections all across the country. Michigan was a big story. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You can support us at any moment. If you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. It's for credit cards as well. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com for ways to donate. Checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R. Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games, and people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
Hey everybody, I'm T.D. Jakes, and I want to encourage you to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered. It'll blow your mind.
last night across the country, and all eyes were on Michigan. And man, was it a huge, huge night for progressive candidates. That's right. Haley Stevens, Representative Haley Stevens, spent $60 million, and she ended up, guys, that graphic is absolutely wrong. What is that? Why do we have that graphic? There's no 92% to 2%. That graphic is wrong. Okay? So Haley Stevens, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, ran against Abdul El-Sayed, and of course, in an extremely close race, and he beat her about 14,000 votes, declared victory today. He also spoke, had a news conference, and of course, he was another candidate who had dropped out. Melody Morrow was standing behind him. She endorsed him as well. Now, you've got your moderate or establishment Democrats saying, hey, can El-Sayed, a former public health official, the son of an Egyptian immigrant, can he actually win statewide against former Congressman Mike Rogers, who claimed the Republican nomination without any opposition? It is going to be a significant race. Whoever wins will succeed. Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat who decided not seeking a third election, he endorsed Stevens in the primary. Now, Republicans have 53 seats in the chamber. Democrats are going after some red states to flip the 4 seats they need to swing the majority, but they need to hold on to. They must hold on to Michigan. And so that is critically important for them to do so. Already, El-Sayed is shifting to the general election. He released a new ad today talking about it, and there was a news conference earlier today where he spoke to supporters of this morning in Detroit. This is what he had to say.
I just want to say how grateful I am to my colleague, Senator McMorrow, Chairman Hertel, to all of our incredible supporters here. What a race. In the words of Muhammad Ali, we shook up the world. And I want to say, just first and foremost, how grateful I am for the opportunity to participate in democracy. My family immigrated to this country from a place where there is not democracy. You cannot just put your hand up and run. And the ability to do this, to have our voices heard, to select our leaders, it is a gift that sometimes we take for granted. So to have participated means so much. And to my fellow participants, I just want to say how grateful I am to you. Senator McMorrow, you ran an incredible race. You fought to end the corporate corruption in our politics. You took on the power of AIPAC. You were willing to speak truth to a level of power that sometimes is unbeatable. And I just want to say thank you and how grateful I am to have your support here today. I cannot wait to see what you do next, and I hope that for as long as I'm in this work, that we can be in this work together. Thank you. To my colleague and friend, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, we shared a great conversation this morning. And I know that it was a bitter end to this very long primary, but I also know that Haley brings the best of herself to her work. She is one of the most committed public servants that you'll ever meet. She loves democracy like I love democracy. And whatever differences that we might have had in the primary, they pale in comparison to what unifies us. A recognition that so long as we want to keep our democracy, that democracy better be working for people, and that all of us have to come together to make sure that we never let Mike Rogers see the inside of the U.S. Senate. So, Congresswoman, thank you for your race.
All right, y'all. So that was El-Sayed again. Folks are saying, hey, can this guy actually win? You look at the enthusiasm surrounding this. Now the question is, how does he bring her supporters all on board? I want to go to my panel. Let's talk about this here. Rebecca, I'll start with you. Just your assessment of what we saw last night in this U.S. Senate race.
Sure. So in Michigan, look, the winning formula for any race, because I know I've been looking at all the hot takes and some of the really bad takes online today. Knock on doors, keep the issues local. And the reason why I'm framing it that way, international issues was brought in when we talk about Gaza, when we talk about the plight of the Palestinians, and for Dearborn, for parts of Wayne County, specifically Detroit, there are, for folks, that became a local issue. It became a very real and relevant issue. And so I just want to be clear for the audience, just because there's foreign policy, international issues that are talked about in a particular race, if it's local to those communities, then it becomes a local issue. And so I know there's big fights over leftists, Democrat socialists, progressive, moderates in the Democrat Party. I get it. I understand that. But for any candidate, the winning formula is you're going to have to knock on doors. You have to get in communities. And the big thing about knocking on doors, you got to listen to what people are talking about, what people care about. There's a lot of issues that voters are concerned about. There's only a few actual voting issues. And when I say voting issues versus an issue that voters care about, a voting issue is the issue that's actually going to move someone to mobilize and to take an action, and in this case, to turn out to vote. And so for the rest of the primaries and then going into the general, to answer the question, can Al Sayed win? He absolutely can. He has to keep the issues local to the communities that he's having conversations with. He has to knock on doors. If he continues to do that, he can be victorious in November.
The point there is very interesting. I saw a video, Derek, of Francesca Hong, who wants to be the Democratic nominee for governor in Wisconsin. And that was literally what she said. She said what she takes from his race is ignore the noise. Don't get fixated on how much money they're spending on that side, and just see the ground, target your core base.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following this race for quite some time. And, my analysis, a shift is happening. The way he approached Black and brown voters, specifically in Wayne County, right there where Detroit is, he didn't walk in there with the status quo talking points. He made a huge departure from what the conventional wisdom would suggest. The things that Democrats, what we would talk about in the 90s, he wasn't talking about it that way in 2026. He was showing up in Wayne County saying, I see you, I hear you. And no, I don't have $60 million like my opponent, but the few dollars that I do have, you know what he did, Roland? He invested in those Black grassroots organization. He invested in Black media up there in the Detroit area. Those periodicals that was getting inside the barbershops and the beauty salons. And he didn't wait to the last minute. He said he started doing this work back in March, according to his interview he did last night. And so this is the blueprint. Don't wait to invest in Black communities in 30-day windows. Do it months and months ahead. Go in and with those grassroots campaigns, create those relationships and let the folks know, I see you. I mean, he went in there, and my final point is this. He went in there and a lot of folks, I think it had about 150 to 200 folks in the town hall meeting. And a lot of them said, well, we didn't know who this conversation around 9/11. He said, let me tell you, I never said that. And let me just tell you who my grandmother is and why I read this book and that book, Malcolm X. I mean, he just started going down the line. He said, because I had to realize who I am in this country. And so I think he did a marvelous job. He didn't have a messaging problem. He certainly did not have an engagement problem. He invested in the right way. He did it beforehand, and he didn't wait to the last minute. And the results are what they are.
Robert, Abdul El Sayed was on a morning show yesterday. And the folks at the Tennessee Holler put together this mashup, and I thought it was great. And it really spoke to what Rebecca said by focusing on issues here and not abroad. Check this out.
My commitment to Jewish safety is the same as my commitment to the safety of my own kids. We have a responsibility to take on anti-Semitism in all of its forms wherever we see it. It's the same responsibility we have to take on Islamophobia. I know what it's like to be discriminated against for how I pray. I've experienced it myself, and nobody should have to feel that in a country where we believe in basic freedoms. And so the things that bring us together are so much bigger than the things that divide us. Whatever we may think about our funding for a government 6,000 miles away, I think think we all agree about the funding for our schools that might be 2 miles away, and the funding for our roads that we drive on to get there, and the funding for our health care that we all need and deserve. I just think we need to treat Israel the way we would treat any other country who behaved the way that Israel is behaving. I understand that Netanyahu is a big reason why they've gotten so aggressive, frankly, so bloodthirsty under his reign. It's impossible for us to say that we want a two-state solution while we've been aiding, arming, and abetting the very people who've been trying to foreclose on the possibility of a Palestinian state. And ultimately, in the end, I don't think any of us pay our taxes so that a foreign government gets a bomb or a tank. We pay our taxes so that our kids get good schools and functional infrastructure, and too many of our kids just don't have those things right now. I just don't believe in unconditional foreign military aid. That includes Israel, but it also includes Egypt, where my family immigrated from. Our kids have a right to our tax dollars. About 10 minutes away from schools that look like they did 50 years ago. Our money should be spent here rather than sent in the form of bombs or tanks to foreign governments, particularly when they're doing the most heinous things with them. I also just believe in international law, and I think we need to hold all foreign actors accountable to that international law. We've watched as Israel has conducted a genocide, has at baseline done apartheid, and has taken us into a war we have no business fighting. So
that to me right there, Robert, I think was an absolutely, granted it was a compilation, but excellent answers, especially if he said, wait a minute, my people came from Egypt and I don't want to send our money to Egypt. And so when and then I love when he said, oh, so if I don't want to send the money to Egypt, but y'all say I'm anti-Semitic if I don't want the money going to Israel, why y'all not calling me anti-Muslim, anti-Arab?
And you know, this is the conversation that has to happen in American politics, because having worked on Capitol Hill for a couple of years, I can tell you the Israeli lobbyists walk into congressional offices as if this is their office. And the Congress people who are currently there are just renting it from AIPAC. And that is not what the American people signed up for. I believe that if Haiti, I'm very partial to Haiti, started bombing schools and hospitals in the Dominican Republic, taking them over and declaring a buffer zone and saying they have a right to exist, I feel like America would have a very negative reaction to that. So now that people are starting to ask these real questions about what exactly is the influence of Netanyahu on American politics, are we in this war for Iran simply because Netanyahu told Trump to do so and showed him a PowerPoint presentation? Are we giving, when President Obama left office, he gave Israel $38 billion. When Trump came into office, he gave Israel another $30 billion. When Biden came into office, he gave Israel another $30 billion. When Biden left office, he gave Israel another $30 billion. And when Trump came back into office, he gave Israel another $100 billion. I think the American people have the right to ask, is that money being rightfully used without being accused of being anti-Semitic? And as you're understanding, as we've seen since October 7th, more and more people, both domestically and globally, are asking these real questions about what exactly is America signing themselves up for, and who is actually the senior partner and who is the junior partner in this discussion. And as the longer we go on with this war in Iran and the Middle East, is more so seeming, and I think more people are realizing, America is the junior partner. Netanyahu points at something, says he wants it blown up, and America's military and America's taxpayers pay for that to happen. And now that 20 U.S. service people are dead, over 600 wounded, we are realizing it is time to make an end to this situation. So I'm glad El Sayed is actually standing up and being on the forefront of this as the American people decide that we no longer want to finance and support genocide in the Middle East.
Rebecca, Jon Stewart, because this is, I'm linking the two. He interviewed Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, and he challenged him by saying, I'm sorry, are you a United States Senator for Pennsylvania or for Israel? Listen to this exchange.
So for you, you could agree with them 90%, but Israel is the red line.
Absolutely. Israel for me. Like, I can't ever turn my back to Israel after where it's at.
So, and I mean no disrespect on this, but that is not our country. You're saying that these candidates may have great ideas for our economy. They may want to do the exact same thing you want to do in terms of getting money out of politics. They may want to increase the social safety net. They may want to change the balance of power from capital back to labor. But if they don't agree with you on Israel, you don't want them in your party.
Well, I don't know who you're referencing to specifically.
No, I'm referencing what you just said.
Name
So
one.
in other words, Syed or AOC or Bernie Sanders, I assume you agree with a lot of what they say economically.
And what I'm saying is, like, if you are a DSA member, if you are a member of a specific political party, run under your own banner. And now I think Bill Maher said something very insightful. He said, the DSA are colonizing the Democratic Party. So just be Democrats if you're going to run under the Democratic Party for that. Why have a DSA party for overall? So run on that, and you all understand.
It's just an organization. It's not, we have a two-party system. We don't, it's like the Freedom Caucus in the Republican Party. There's Randy Fine and Ogles and all these nutbags that are also part of an area, and Republicans, I'm sure, may not agree with all of them on all kinds of things, but there is no other party.
Well,
I guess you could try it, but my point is, if you don't disagree with them on a lot of things, why not use some of that energy? And even like Mamdani in New York is DSA, but there are things in the DSA platform that he disagrees with. And I'm assuming there's probably things in the Democratic platform that you might disagree with, but you don't disavow the entire thing. You're literally saying we can all have discussions, except when it comes to Israel, which is not America. It seems like a weird line to draw.
Well, so then, I don't think that's weird. I think what history demonstrates is that when people or a government or people turn their back to the Jewish community, things end really badly, and it's a dangerous.
Jewish community and Israel are not the same thing, brother man. They're not. That is not the same thing.
No. It's like, hey, it's like if I have to pick a side for after 10/7 and after Iran. I'm always going to stand with Israel. I'm always going to vote and support whatever that's necessary to protect themselves and to prosecute Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran too. And the very left never said a peep after Iran executed 30 to 40,000 young people in there just for protesting for democracy.
You think that the left is pro Iran, but not the country, but the regime?
What I'm saying though is, like, if anyone in the Democratic Party is fine with Iran building a nuclear bomb, I disagree with that person.
I think most people are. Again, I think you're caricaturing the issue. But I want to. Is there anything you would criticize Israel about?
I mean, right there. And this is what these people don't get. We literally saw, Rebecca, in New York City, Dan Goldman, Jewish, strong Israel supporter, loses to a Jewish candidate that criticized Israel. Dan Goldman has the most Jewish district in America. So Jon Stewart nailed it, that saying you want to keep Jews safe does not mean it means support Israel. That's why Al Said said, I want to keep Jews safe. I want to keep people of my faith safe. This thing is really exposing these people who really have been acting as if they are in the Netanyahu cabinet.
Some of them aren't acting. This is the very reason why when you hear people talk about removing money from politics, what you just saw is the latest example of it. Anytime this country allows a foreign government to actively lobby American politicians on behalf of a foreign government, anytime this country allows a foreign government to actively give money legally, lawfully, in campaigns or in support for a candidate against a particular candidate, anytime that happens, you have corruption in a country. There should not be a foreign government that gets to lawfully, that gets to legally interfere and interfere in U.S. elections. We understand around the world there's all sorts of spies and tactics and all that stuff. The United States does that too, right? But there's a difference when it's legally and lawfully happening. And unless we are serious about getting money out of politics, it's going to be a problem. I do want to preview what I'm noticing in trends going into 2028. I'm noticing the amount of a particular foreign government's money that is flowing now in Black communities, trying to use AAVE, trying to use different Black caricatures and digital blackface to try to move and drive different attitudes towards voting, different attitudes towards particular candidates. And we have to start asking, why is it in both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party we have seen, especially up until this point, are many of our elected officials acting as if they're serving or they are representing a different country other than America. The other thing I just want to say and just throw it out there, like demonizing people because they are DSA. Mayor Dinkins was a card-carrying member of DSA. There are many people in the Black civil rights movement who actually laid the groundwork for the type of policy, the representational policy that we now see the modern DSA movement co-opting. But I think people have to understand modern progressivism in this country is because of Fannie Lou Hamer, but also Fannie Lou Hamer's mentor. I keep talking about on this show and also in speeches I've given over the last month, I'm reading Ella Baker's biography. If you read Ella Baker's biography, you understand that many of the framing and policies that DSA is espousing, it comes from Black radical thought. There's a through line to Jesse Jackson 84 and 88 presidential runs. So I need people to read a book so they can understand the foundation of the discourse that's occurring. Instead, people are just saying stuff because they don't read.
Yeah, I sit here and I watch these people and I just go, to your point, like, y'all ain't read nothing. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all ain't read nothing. Folks, go to my iPad. The book she's referring to is by Barbara Ransby. It is called Ella Baker and the Black Freedom Movement, A Radical Democratic Vision. I have the book. It is an amazing book. It is absolutely, Barbara Ransby did an amazing job with this book, and she nailed it. And the thing here, like here's the other thing that just, Derek, that's tripping me out. I'm just being tripped out by this. These people are going, oh my God, the Democratic Party is being overrun by DSA. Okay, in order to win the House, you need 218 seats. In order to control the Senate, you need 51. You're not going to have 51 DSA Democrats. You're not going to have 218 Democrats. I said this before. Okay, Mamdani won last year. So did Andre Dickens. So did Randall Woodfin. So did I could go down the line and the mayors that won last year that weren't DSA. What these people don't seem to understand is that there is a through line, and they're not paying attention. Craggly old, crypt keeper James Carville. I mean, all these it's so funny. MS Now doesn't call me. CNN doesn't call me. Fox News will not call me. And they keep calling the crypt keeper James Carville. How often does James Carville leave his $1 million mansion in Louisiana? How often is he literally on the ground talking to people? If anybody is paying attention, and if you study how Mamdani ran, how El Said ran, how Hong is running, how these candidates have won, they have shown you how. They have been laser-like on the very specific issues. What happened in that debate in New York City? If you were mayor of New York City, what's the first place you're going to go visit? And every Democratic candidate, I'm going to Israel. I'm going to Israel. I'm going to Israel. And Mamdani, I'm going to New York City because I want to be the mayor of New York City. And Mamdani's point was, y'all aren't bringing up any other country. You're not bringing up any other country. And so he knew what the game was. And when he said that, I said, y'all, race over. Race over. So maybe what all of these establishment Democrats and these weak-kneed Democrats should do, they should be sitting down going, how are they putting together coalitions to win? And then people dare who go, well, I don't know if they're going to be able to win the general election. You cannot win a general until you win a primary. And so for me, am I DSA? No, I don't use any label. What I do know is that if you win, that means you got more votes than the other person, Derek. And that means you connected with voters in a way that caused them to come out and support you. Maybe establishment Democrats should shut the hell up and start analyzing how they are winning.
And Carville needs to get out of 1990s, right? Because he's stuck in the 1990s. Every time he gives some kind of consulting or analysis, it's what we did for Bill Clinton. We're not there in the 1990s no more, Carville. Here's the other point, Roland, and you and Rebecca hit it, right? I mean, if you think about DSA, a lot of folks don't know what DSA is. They're not walking around here. Madami didn't walk around and say, I'm DSA. No, what Madami said is, I got an economic policy that includes you, working families. We're going to talk about child care. If for those who are renting, we're going to deal with renting. We're going to cap renting. We're going to make sure that you have a job. We're going to make sure that the potholes are taken care of. We're going to make, right? And those are the issues that folks want to hear. But these candidates are showing up. They're not allowing for the TV ad to speak for them. They're showing up so they can speak with the folks they want to lead. They're having a conversation. They're engaging them, right? They don't have a messaging problem because they are engaging. They say, this is what Miss Jones wants. Miss Jones is a single grandmother taking care of her 4 grandchildren because her children are working 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 jobs, and they don't have time to take care of my grandbaby, right? Those are real issues. They're not some macro issue. Here's the final point I would make too, Roland, that these candidates that are winning, like the young lady over in Colorado, she's 29. She beat someone that's been in Congress for 30 years. She beat someone that's an incumbent. She didn't have the money. So money been in politics well before the 2010 Citizens United decision. And so they don't walk around talking about they don't walk around talking about vilifying the other opponent. They're saying, if you get me in office, these are the things that I will do. One, because I see you, I hear you, and I'm going to deliver. And that's what you're starting to see up in Chicago. That's what you see in the mayor of Atlanta. That's what you see all these last wins in the last 12 months. They're delivering. And they're saying, the hell of high water. We don't care what the Trump administration is doing, but it's on our watch. We're going to make sure our children are fed in school. We're going to make sure that you have a proper public education. We're going to have books so they can read, because our readership right now is at 29%. So they don't know about the book that Rebecca and you highlighted, because our readership in the United States is at 29%. That means the other 71% of those in our society are not reading books. We're not even teaching Civics 101 in schools anymore. And so that's the reason why we got this huge vacuum for people like Carville, who's stuck in the 90s trying to tell the establishment what we need to do. And then when they lose, they go, oh my gosh, we put $60 million there. We did a $60 million ad buy. And guess what, Roland? She lost because El Sadid was on the ground talking to people, doing 2 or 3 town halls every week. That's what it takes.
Robert, to that point, someone posted this here, and the OSOF campaign saw this clip, and they said, I think we're going to post it. Here is hard right conservative Georgia radio talk show host Eric Erickson. He's talking about Senator John Ossoff. Listen.
His constituent services he's learned. You talk to farmers in South Georgia, they can get him on the phone. They can get his staff on the phone. They can get help. You talk to Republicans in Houston County, very Republican part of the state. They know they can reach out to Ossoff, and he doesn't care that they're Republican. If they need something, he's going to get it done.
Let me
That's
go
my whole
at this
point right there. That's my point right there. It's understanding. You have to connect to voters. And what they're doing is they're connecting. The consultants who were behind Haley Stevens, they thought, yo, we're going to carpet bomb Michigan. We're just going to say, and this is the lesson that these stupid ass Democratic, mostly white male consultants don't understand. You can't just think, oh yeah, we're just going to sit here and drop $60 million. We're just going to run ads on television, radio, blanket. They're like, nah, we ain't falling for that. That doesn't work here.
Well, look, Roland, on that same point, if you ask any Gen Z voter how often they're watching television in order to see the television ads that these consultants are paying for, it is de minimis at best. And for the rest of us, we become what they call nose blind to it within months of the campaign, because after you just continue to flood people with TV ads and mailers, etc., it becomes just part of the background of any situation. At the end of the day, the candidates who are winning right now are the candidates who reflect the interests of the American people. And as much as the Democrats may want to stop the Democratic Socialists of America, they will go down the same aisle as the John McCain, Bob Dole, Mitt Romney version of the Republican Party when they tried to stop the Tea Party and the MAGA movement from happening under their feet. Because at the end of the day, we are not dumb. We all realize we've been voting Democratic for decades, and when it gets down to that acid test, when it gets down to the question of, are we going to handle reparations? Are we going to handle criminal justice reform for African Americans? Are we going to do something about voting rights and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act? We've seen again and again and again the Democratic Party tell us, oh, just hold on. Wait a second. We can't do it now. You know what we need? We need a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, and then we're going to need a majority in the House, and we're going to need a majority on Supreme Court. Man, we ain't going to try to do it. My bad. How about we just do the white people stuff first, and then we're going to come back and try to do y'all stuff later. Folks are tired of hearing that. And I'm amazed that they seem surprised that the people who they've been lying to for 30 or 40 years are finally tired of being lied to. Gen Z understands the game is rigged. They will never buy a house. They will never be able to afford a car without a car payment. They will never be able to get out of the debt that America put upon them. And they are ready for radical changes and radical ideas. And either the Democratic Party can be the party that hops on board with that, like MAGA and like the Tea Party movement did, or they can be John McCain. They can be Bob Dole. This is that moment for the Democratic Party. But at the end of the day, time waits for no man and it waits for no party.
Yeah, I just don't really understand how these people are not paying attention, how they don't understand. Let's look at, you had some other key races that took place. Of course, when you look at Missouri, of course, you had a major race. Actually, before I go to Missouri, you had some interesting races here where you had the Michigan 13th, where you had Donovan McKinney, DSA candidate. He beat sitting Congressman Sri Thanadir. He beat him by about 4,000 votes. That's not going to be that much of a miss, if you will, because many people said that Sri has just been sort of MIA on Capitol Hill. And so you got that race right there. One race. What district? Well, do y'all know the district? I don't know. Where that crazy black dude who was Rebecca's already laughing. Which district was it? The crazy black dude who was.
Oh, the one that the guy dropped out.
He was hooping. He was hooping and hollering for. Hold on, let me find it.
Was it CD 11 or CD 13?
Yeah, hold on, but it's not 13. I just pulled up 13. Let me pull up 11. Y'all, this is hilarious as hell. Republican primary. Nope, it's not 11 because the 11 guy ran unopposed. Y'all, give me a second. I gotta show this, y'all. Yeah, Hassan.
Roland, while you're putting it up, can I just say?
Okay, all right. So go ahead. So Hassan, go ahead. Thomas. So Thomas Smith, y'all. This is absolutely one of the funniest things you have ever seen. This dude here, Amir Hassan, who Donald Trump backed, y'all, he got crushed 50-32. But here's the most hilarious part. The dude who beat him dropped out.
Yep.
The dude who beat him dropped out. He had Trump's endorsement. All that MAGA ass kissing didn't go anywhere, Rebecca.
Yeah. Like, do you know, like, if you are Black MAGA, right? Do you know how bad racism is in this country? That you have Donald Trump who shows up to Detroit to Michigan in your district, endorses you, your opponent drops out, and you still lose because they ain't voting for you. They're not going to vote for you. And so now you're in the history books with what? Herschel Walker and other folks? Like you are still Black. They see you as Black. You're just a useful puppet, a useful idiot. And you are blackface for them. And I just the disconnect there. And there's other Black MAGA. Show me Black MAGA that is consistently winning. Like Tim Scott was a part of the Republican Party before MAGA fully gelled in, but it'll be interesting watching if he has a white opponent in his next primary in South Carolina, but also keeping an eye on what's happening in Florida. Byron Donaldson, we're keeping our eye on, August 18th? Okay, we're gonna have that conversation, I guess, on August 19th of what happened.
Yeah, I'm just like, y'all need to understand, hey, in Missouri, AIPAC put a lot of money behind incumbent Congressman Wesley Bell. He beat former Congresswoman Cori Bush for the second time, a heated primary. It was actually not a close race at all in Wesley Bell beating her. And it was, again, a very tough race, lots of money being spent in that race as well. So 59.2% to 36.9%. All right, folks, lots for us to cover, lots for us to break down. We're going to do that. Going to go to break. We come back. More things to cover right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games. People who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
Hey, this is Motown recording artist Kim. You are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Hey, boy, he always unfiltered, though. I ain't never known him to be filtered. Is there another way to experience Roland Martin than to be unfiltered? Of course he's unfiltered. Would you expect anything less? Watch what happens next.
Yesterday, we told you about a black family that faced harassment from two white women while trying to enjoy the pool at a hotel in a Chicago suburb. Leo Sullivan and his children were staying at the Arton of Warrenville Hotel when one of the women called cops on them not once but twice. One of the women repeatedly demanded to see Leo's identification, even though he had already provided proof that they were registered guests at the hotel. Well, Leo and his attorney, Michael Sterling, join us right now. I'm glad to have y'all here. Leo, first and foremost, how long were y'all staying at this hotel?
We had booked the hotel we booked the Airbnb for 5 days.
Okay, so this was an Airbnb or was it a hotel?
It was an Airbnb, my bad, Airbnb.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So was this a common pool for residents with properties there?
Yes, it was a common pool. Actually, it was our last day there, and my 8-year-old, he had wanted to spend some time at the pool, and since it was the last day there, I decided to take him down there. We all went down as a family, and that's when everything transpired. As we were sitting at the pool, I was reading a book, and I was approached by this young lady, and she was very agitated. She was adamant. She told me that I had to leave the pool. But actually, her verbatimly, she said, you people have to leave. And I was like, pardon me? And she was like, you have to leave. And I was like, why would I have to leave? And she was like, you don't belong here. And I do belong here. And then she went on to question me. And I remember explaining to her that I have I'm staying here. This is the room that I'm in, the apartment that I'm in. I showed her my keys, and she had if you look at the film, the young lady has a piece of paper, and she looked on a piece of paper, and she saw that I actually were a resident there. I was living there for those 5 days, and she just stormed off, and I went back to reading my book. And the next thing I know, she came with this other female, and she was very agitated, and she just said, you have to leave. And I was saying, leave for what? And she was just really upset. And she told me that the reason I had to leave because I wasn't a resident then. I was like, I do live here. I'm in an Airbnb. And just everything just went left. And that's when she be.
So I'm confused. Were these white women security? Were they management?
So I didn't know at that particular time because I've been inundated with just all these onslaught of communications telling me that there have been other people, precedent to me, black people had the same similar experiences. One young lady, Tiffany, she told me that she was actually arrested. Karen had her, not Karen, her name is Shirley Black, I apologize. She was arrested by her, and it's a normalcy actually for her to actually call the police. The police are accustomed to coming there and, dealing with situations when she reports these incidents to Black people. And it's really unfortunate because it really traumatized myself and my children.
Yeah. I mean, you got son crying. I mean, he's scared that the cops are going to come and it's going to harm you. I mean, we've covered way too many stories how basic calls from cops end up with a Black man being dead. Michael, I want to go to you. Here's my biggest deal. These white folks do not have the authority just to demand. We have done a lot of other stories. This happened at other pools and no, show me your key, show me your this. And listen, Leo was nice. He was nice.
He was.
Because I'd be like, they better take your white ass on. I mean, again, I'm sorry, if you're not management or security, who the hell do you think you are challenging somebody and questioning, asking to prove that you should be here?
And Roland, I think that's why Leo's story has resonated, because it's just not about one swimming pool in Chicago, right? It's about whether or not we're going to accept a society where some people automatically are presumed to belong, right? And other people have to prove they belong, right? He's sitting at a swimming pool with his two boys, and what they're saying is, you need to prove you belong, but we're going to presume that everybody else who doesn't look like you belongs. And that's why it's bigger than just one swimming pool in Chicago. And Roland, his son, the reason this story resonated with me is his son and my son were basketball teammates.
Right. Kingston, yeah, that's how the relationship. Actually, that same week we had saw each other on the plane.
We actually saw each other. We were on the same plane on our way to Chicago talking about our sons playing basketball together. And I saw this video and I immediately reached out and said, oh my God, I cannot believe this. And I'm a former federal prosecutor in Chicago. And so immediately I said, tell me what it is I can do to help.
So what's the plan? I mean, what are y'all going to sue these women?
We're going to pursue every available legal remedy under the law, because civil rights, Roland, isn't just about economic damages, right? It's about being treated equally under the law. You walked into a pool and made a presumption with no legal basis whatsoever. And not to mention, that wasn't the only time they called the police on Leo. After he finished after they called the cops on him at the pool, when the cops left and verified he was okay to be at the pool, he went and, wanted to inquire about exactly who had called the cops and get the necessary information about what had happened. And he inquired, hey, I'm sorry, ma'am, what's your name? He goes back to his room where he's legally allowed to be at. He gets a knock at the door. It's police again. So simply for asking the lady's name and trying to understand exactly what had happened, they called the cops on him again and said he harassed them by simply for asking for their name.
Hold up. So I'm confused. They call the cops because he asked for their name, but they get to ask him for his ID.
And that's exactly what I told the young lady when I went to the desk and I inquired. I was like, excuse me, are you a young lady who just called the police? Because she had took her glass off. I couldn't recognize her. And she was incredibly rude. And she was like, you're acting weird. And I don't have to talk to you. And I explained to her, well, I just gave you my name and my information, and you work here and you're an employee here. And I think that's a requisite for your job to give me your name. And it just went left. And I do remember expressing to her that I thought that this was very disrespectful. When you did this in front of my children, you need to be careful how you treat people because it could come back on you. And lo and behold, here we go on your show. So this is an honor to be. I want to say that. Thank you very much. And that's basically what happened, though, because I couldn't I turned my camera off. The reason why I turned my camera off because my son had started crying, and I just wanted to cater to him. But prior to then, if you look at the footage, she was right in front of my son. She was very vocal, and spittle was coming from her mouth. And that let me know, let me cut my phone on, because this woman is very irate. And the other thing that peeved me and just was so vexing was the fact that when my son started crying, that's when they started giggling and they started to laugh. And it was so demonic, because I teach my children to love everybody. So how do I deal with this? Because I'm teaching them one thing, but white people are showing us something totally different, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, the stories that we've run, black folks just trying to barbecue in the park, trying to sit here and deliver packages. I remember there was this one brother, I think his car was barely touching the line on the crosswalk, and this white woman was losing her mind, and he's like, you can literally, I mean, we've covered it all. And what this is they believe, listen, I've been saying this about Trump. What Donald Trump is,
it's the
I'm telling
comment.
you,
That's what it is. It's a political comment.
What Donald Trump has unleashed at these white racists think they can do whatever they want to, and they actually don't want black people in this country.
And this was on another level, and I get it. You know, I 100% back what you're saying. I think it's just because of they're being emboldened because of Trump. In the atmosphere, right?
But Trump is also going to earn some of them ass whooping. I mean, I'm telling you, they're gonna run up on the wrong person, and we've seen the videos when these white folks call somebody the N-word, and then they don't have teeth. I mean,
I'm fortunate because had it been a black woman there, that would have been problematic, because you know black women historically don't like to see their children cry, and they're more aggressive in terms of the respect thing. So her spitting and being all in my children's face like that.
We covered the brother who was fishing, the white woman roll up on him. Some sisters were trying to work out in the park. The white woman demanded the ID. Listen, this is what's so crazy. So listen, I hope y'all sue their ass. I hope y'all win. And these folks need to be taught a lesson. And for the folk who did catch it, now what's Karen's name again? Shirley? Shirley Black. Ain't that some shit? Her last name Black.
So the anonymous thing right here is the young lady that was with her, because she was actually the aggressor. She was the one that accosted us first and was very saying like, you people can't sit here. You people are not supposed to be here. And I was like, I remember saying, you people. And she was the one who called the police on me the second time.
What's her name?
So I don't know, but I will tell you, they'll find her, because I didn't, when I left there, I felt my dignity had been stripped from me. I felt just decimated. And I looked at my phone, and I saw that a lot of people had saw the video, and they were championing it. And it just like, I was like, look at God. Because I in the face of adversity, I had to put this facade up in front of my children, you know, just to make them feel good. But I was like, damn, they called the police on me twice. It's almost like kicking me in my ass when I was finna leave. I was like, look at these white folks. I mean, they're really, really proud here. You know, they're very emboldened, because this woman actually has a history of, you know, calling the police on black people, and she felt very confident in it.
Well, I hope when y'all drop that lawsuit, that's going to teach her to put that damn phone down. Michael, final comment.
No, Roland, what I was going to say is that, look, I coach Leo's son, and when you coach 7 to 9 year olds, you get to know the parents a lot, because some parents can be really aggressive and some are very courteous and supportive. So I know Leo well, and he's somebody who's obviously very reserved. So for him to even take the step to video to figure out what's going on, and to make this public and to be out here, I know that it must have meant something very serious to him and his family. So what we're going to do is we're going to pursue every available legal option to us, and we're definitely going to hold them accountable for what they did.
All right. Well, y'all keep us abreast what happens. Jamal, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure. I'm one of your biggest fans. you're a pioneer in this right here. I remember you from CNN. I think you're reporting. I think you're incredible. When I heard that you wanted to interview us, I was just so fascinated. So keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate
keep the fire alive. Keep rolling, man. And one thing about it, you believe in speaking your mind. I love that.
You damn Skippy. All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, then, y'all. Got to go to a break. We come back. Oh, let's all remember 3 years ago when we were all together watching ass whoopings being dished out in Montgomery, Alabama. We'll reflect on that when we come back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, let me get personal for a second.
Is Rebecca frozen?
About her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games, and people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
Watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
It's the hat toss seen around the world. 3 years ago today, the Montgomery, Alabama riverfront brawl became a social media phenomenon. And there were no serious injuries in the 2023 brawl, but the images and video sparked conversations, inspired memes, folding chair humor. We're talking about necklaces, earrings, you name it. The iconic fight broke out after white recreational boaters docking on the riverfront refused to move to allow the Harriet II riverboat to dock. Co-captain Damian Pickett tried to handle it himself, but that's when things got a little violent. My man tossed the hat, and the fighting commenced, and oh, the cavalry came. What followed was a brawl that played out along clear racial lines, and the internet lit up. Initially, 13 people were detained, but only 5 were charged and pleaded to various misdemeanors, including assault, harassment, and disorderly conduct. Let's just roll and hear it. All right, y'all. That was one angle. Do we have the? We got a couple of others. Roll those too. Remember when the brother? Is this the one where the brother jumped in? He showed us black folks can't swim. Okay, I want to see black Aquaman. We got to see that one. Okay, y'all get that one ready. Now, what inspired this shirt? Y'all, it was absolutely crazy. Let me know when y'all got. Y'all got to find it. Okay, I don't know how we don't have a video of the brother who was swimming. That one is just still just crazy hilarious to me. My man was watching. He jumped off the boat and he went Mark Spitz on their ass. Swimming swimming across the water. So y'all be sure to find that. Now, we told y'all how this inspired memes. So today I had posted on social media that we were going to be talking about this here. That was going to be wearing the shirt as well. And that brought up a lot of different things. So let's go. Let's see. Here we go. So y'all might remember this one here when they said, "Here come the Avengers." When and so I don't know, y'all gotta have that video too, because when the brothers rolled up, it was like, oh shit, it's on. Then we had this right here. They put a do-rag and some shoes on a chair. So that one was too funny. Then we got this one right here, Black Woman, the brother who jumped into the water. This one right here, somebody said this was gonna be a Disney Pixar movie called Brawl. I thought that was hilarious. Then let's see here. Then we had this one right here. Somebody said, "Oh, this was going to be a video game that was going to get released." That I thought was too funny as well. And then let's see here. Now this is the one that just I think this is probably in second place. This one right here is probably in second place out of all the ones that I saw. That was absolutely hilarious. And then, but this one right here, again, throwing that hat, just throwing that hat up in the air. But the MLK one is money. The MLK one is money. But I think I like this one, Happy Chairteenth. You see this called Fade in the Water? Okay, that was too funny. Essence posted that one. This one here, though, the next one, I think is number one. I'm going to go to the panel and ask them, lift every voice and swing. Derek, your thoughts on this third anniversary of the Montgomery, Alabama riverfront brawl, or some call uprising?
You know, I like the Chairteenth one, but obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased with the Dr. King one, having our fraternity brother holding the chair with 50-foot stone granite in Washington. That's even better. But listen, here's the thing, though, Roland. I mean, this Montgomery brawl 3 years ago, it was a way of telling the world enough was enough. Nobody's going to come and save us. We're tired of police violence. We're tired of folks who think that they can be emboldened and entitled just to do anything and everything to us in broad daylight. They thought that simply jumping on this elderly man was okay. And they quickly realized that the era of black folks and brown folks saying that we're not just going to stand around and watch you, beat up on us. We're not just going to put this on a video camera with our smart device. We're going to take action. And yes, some folks went to jail. Some had some civil offenses and all that. But the larger point was enough is enough. We're not going to stand around and let you just beat up and abuse our black man simply doing his job.
I just love when the go to my iPad when the brothers rolled up and they were like, "Yo, we here." Wait, turn the audio up.
They ready to move out. They ready to move out. He ready to run. Yeah. What's up? Y'all was tough a minute ago. Yeah. Woo! They scared. Look at them. They scared. Woo! Beat their ass. Woo! Oh my God. Woo! That what you get. That what you get. That what you get. Oh, tie her ass up. Ooh, she whooping her ass. She finna put her in the water. In the water. In the water. Tie her ass up. Cause y'all were wrong.
Rebecca, there's a lesson here. White women, when your white men getting their ass whooped, let them get their ass whooped. Because you jump your little ass up in there, you gonna catch them hands. And them white women, they caught some hands. They caught some black hands.
Look, this is Black August, so happy 5th of August to all who celebrate. I myself took a pilgrimage to Montgomery and I got a picture next to that riverboat. It is called the Harriet. It's spelled differently than how Harriet Tubman spelled her name, but look, it was called the Harriet. And so when you're talking about the power of Black women, the other thing I want to point out, a couple of days after that happened, I remember I think the captain of the boat, he was on the show, and it was during that interview we knew that he had charges against him, and we discovered that he didn't have a lawyer. And it was through your show you were able to make some calls and make sure that he got proper legal representation. Because at that point, he didn't know what to do. He went viral. There was a lot of notoriety, but there were criminal charges. And so I just want to highlight to folks, once again, the importance of Black media.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, y'all, I totally understand, Robert, the folks who believe in nonviolence. I get all of that. But sometimes Black folks get tired of being the ones who calm stuff down. And sometimes Becky gonna get her ass whooped.
Look, Roland, in the words of the prophet A. Brown, violence is as American as cherry pie. And this is one of those situations where I thought, and I hope, and I still hope, that this will be the moment, that this will be a nucleation point for Black nationalism. That this would be a point of nationalistic pride. If you think about Germany in the 1860s or France in the 1870s, it was this idea of forming a nationalistic identity that it pushes you forward towards the idea of having an actual country around your national identity. Germany before that was the loose confederation of the Rhine. Italy before that was a set of tectonic city-states. What African Americans have to do is understand that this places you within a global struggle. Read Frantz Fanon and The Wretched of the Earth. Read the idea of the cleansing nature of revolution and this conceptualization around this, that African Americans can stand up and not simply wait for the idea that white Americans will give you something, but understand that you have the station, you have the economics, you have the ability to fight for your own nationalistic ideas. And when we see the Kurds fighting for independence, when we see the Catalonians fighting for independence, should it not also be that Black Americans are not just fighting for reparations, but fighting for an independent nation? free from the people who enslaved you, to stand up towards the political system that exists right now and say that we believe we can have our own thing. And I think that this celebration, this yearly commemoration, should be that should be an inspiring point for African Americans. We don't just want Juneteenth. We don't just want an acknowledgement. We want Black nationalism and a Black nation. And that is what will rescue us from the position we are currently in. And I hope that this becomes an annual reminder of what happens when Black people stand up.
Here's the video of Black Aquaman, y'all. Check this out. My man jumped off of one of the boats and swam across, and he said, "Let me get in. Let me hear him talk."
That boy finna help that boy. Get up there, young boy. Get up there, young buck. Get up there, young buck. Hey, don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Shit, they
My man swam all the way over. Oh my God, listen.
And Roland, on that point, I would like to say that you can solve that situation very easily. With right there, we have the flamethrower. You should get a flamethrower.
Oh, your ass.
That solves most of the problems. If you get a flamethrower, then you don't have to swim over. You can walk over there and then flamethrow the rest. So get a flamethrower.
This Negro.
I'm just saying, flamethrower solve the problems.
This Negro.
I mean, so could a good punch too.
But I don't
That's
have
free.
to be next to you. I can be 10 feet away with the flamethrower.
And we do know how to swim.
All I can think
I
about.
don't need to swim with the flamethrower. I got it on the back. I walk over there.
We know what else you got, Robert, too. So I think the flamethrower is the.
I'm just saying, don't invite me to Montgomery anytime soon. Don't. If y'all want to have a fist-related fight at Montgomery, I'm not the person to be there for a fist-related fight. I'm there for other fights that might be involved.
All I can think about by watching.
This is why we need Robert. It takes all kinds.
Yeah.
We need Robert.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have somebody.
All I can think about by watching those videos of Dr. King. Whoop that ass, whoop that ass. Somebody about to get their ass whooped. All right, y'all, that is it. I love it. Yes, for every year we have this show, we will be celebrating Montgomery, Alabama Riverfront Brawl Day. Derek, appreciate it. Robert, thanks so much. And Rebecca, I appreciate it as well. Y'all, that's it for us. I had a bunch of other stuff we're going to get to. We'll push it to tomorrow's show. But that was just too funny there. I appreciate y'all being on today's panel. Folks, support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Our goal is to get $20,000 fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month. Robert, what the hell are you showing? What the hell is that? What the
flamethrower people.
Robert,
Yeah, so
is that
I'm
real?
just saying.
Is that real?
Of course it's real. It's a flamethrower.
It looked like a damn toy. Your ass got a flame.
Oh, see, this hooks onto the front of your AR-15. You can actually take this off.
Oh my God.
And hook that to the front of the rifle, so you can flamethrow directly from the rifle.
The revolution will not be televised.
Somebody,
but it will be live streamed.
Somebody in the chat said, "Is Robert high?"
Robert is who you need.
There's somebody else said, "I always said Robert can play Isaac Hayes' role, and I'm gonna get you sucker if they do a remake with all those guns."
I will play Isaac Hayes' part in Truck Turner. I'm just saying.
I can't.
Robert speaks the language of this country.
I can't believe this boy got a flamethrower.
Why would I not have a flamethrower rolling?
So look at this. Robert is a too much. Robert is a trip. When the play comes, I'm going to Robert's. Robert is so cool. Lord, Roland, keep building that ark. If only the ancestors could see this now. Robert got me crying, laughing. You know Robert about that life.
Said Robert is ready for the apocalypse.
Feel free to join me in this movement once I get the nonprofit founded. So, like I said,
Robert is the fuse. Robert is the one you need if you're in a get out situation or sinners. The book of Eli, no, the book of Robert. Let's see, the revolution will be at Robert's house. Facts. Robert Patillo, Esquire, gun. Wait a minute, Robert Patillo, Esquire, gun for hire. Black GI.
Purchased that in Georgia.
Georgia. Black GI Joe headquarters is at Robert's house.
This is indeed true.
Robert can star in a remake of Desperado.
Robert is a descendant of Haitian revolutionaries. When I talk about we could learn something about the Africans in Haiti, this is what I mean. We got to learn something from the Africans.
I'm just saying, look, Rebecca, when the things go down, I have a full finished basement now. So just hit me up like a week and a half beforehand. We got it. We going. You're on the list.
Yep.
They say Robert.
I ride with you, Robert.
Say Robert is I Am Legend.
Robert, do you need a propane tank? Do you need a propane tank to, for the flamethrower?
You can actually, the thing about this one, this is the small flamethrower, but you can actually hook an extra port in right here to have the backpack with it. So you can actually hook the backpack in here, and this is the kickstand that goes with it. So you can sit it down, and then you can actually have the extra fuel in the backpack. So yes, the propane tank will be helpful. And I ain't gonna tell y'all no more about what we're doing down here.
You are now Rambo. When I see you in the ATL streets, I'm gonna call you Rambo, brother. You Rambo.
They said Robert is.
As long as when the revolution comes, you're on the right team. We're ready.
It said Robert is the next in the next Blade film. Let's see. Hold up. I got a couple of more. Let's see here. Robert is the Equalizer. Robert was that kid that had all the army men.
Funny story about that is
Robert uses that to start up his charcoal grill.
So two things. One, on the army men thing. So if anybody had a Haitian mom, they know that Haitian moms are violent. So this nostril doesn't work because my mom hit me with a boot because I was playing with army men as a little kid. So, I can't. My boy hit the shit out of me with that boot.
Roland, help me, Roland. Come on, bro.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, hit the fuck out of me. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, so Robert's about to enter the power universe.
Rebecca.
I'm telling you. Look, I'm telling you. This is why we got to unite. Because look, I'm from Nebraska. I don't got flamethrowers, but I know how to grow food.
Oh,
so I can help grow some food.
Rebecca's in charge of the corn. In charge of the corn for the colony. We're on it, yes.
Look, I know how to grow tomatoes. I know how to grow corn. I know how to grow collards, turnips, all sorts of tomatoes. Let me know what you want to grow. String beans, green, everything.
They say Robert is the black firefly.
So you slide the handle in right here.
Oh my God, this boy.
Then clip it in. So you clip it and tighten it up. You clip the handle in right there. And then you can flamethrow people. And all you do, you hit this button right here to shoot. And this button is power. So I say flamethrow people, Rebecca. Make popcorn.
Yep. I got to include flamethrowers in my legislation now.
No, you don't. Derek, with all due respect, Derek.
What we talking
Derek,
about
with
here?
all due respect, mind your business here. We planning for
Yeah, exactly.
the
Ain't nobody asking for no legislation.
Mind your business,
America.
Derek.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Before this, I thought the AK-47, M16. Now I gotta put flamethrower. God damn. Oh my God.
Derek,
you
as
can
long as y'all
never
got Stone Mountain.
out-legislate.
Now
What you say,
listen.
Rebecca?
Now listen.
Derek, as long as y'all got those KKK members of Stone Mountain, you need some flamethrowers.
Now
You need
listen.
some guns.
Now
You
listen.
need
Y'all,
some strong communities.
y'all
You know
didn't
what I'm saying?
understand. I think my mama has texted me once during the show. Now my daddy always texting. He always texted me. Why my mama gonna text me? I thought Robert was so mild-mannered, but now I know.
Apparently, people just found out I was Haitian. We're very mild-mannered until it's time for the flamethrowers. What do you think the French found out? What do you think the Dutch and everybody else like, yes. Oh my God, Jean-Jacques Rousseau was so kind on the plantation. And now he chopped everybody up. Who knew? That's how shit be sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes.
First of all, Rebecca, you started this. Rebecca, you encouraged this. Rebecca, you encouraged this, Rebecca. You.
Yep.
I mean,
so you the one to blame for all this craziness. Oh my God.
You're reading the Bible, then Rebecca just showed up.
Oh my God.
You G.I. Joe, brother. You are now G.I. Joe. I'm trying to think of all the things. You know how, Roland, you know how you had all the various things about the chair and the Montgomery Brawl, and how you went through a litany of 4 or 5 6 different types of posts. Next week, we're going to see all the social media posts about Robert and his flamethrower.
Robert.
And I could have solved the Montgomery Brawl in 18 seconds.
Robert gonna show up next week in nothing but all leather in his flame.
Stay ready, you don't got to get ready. That's what they say, right?
Exactly.
Amen.
I done interviewed Richard Roundtree, the original Shaft. I done interviewed Sam Jackson, the next Shaft. Jesse T. Usher, the next Shaft. Robert's like, no, I'm trying to get in line in the Shaft lineage. Oh my God. Oh my. And then why my sister gonna say, who is Robert? And I go, Robert Patillo, a panelist on my show, he has a flamethrower on the show. And my sister had 2 words, oh my.
just let her know I've been divorced for 2 weeks, so I'm on the market.
This Negro. Okay, we gotta go. We first of all, she been married like 27 years, so that this Negro. Somebody said Robert got camouflage outfits in all colors. Now see,
I'm not gonna go get the bag. I'm not gonna get it.
Man, Wesley Snipes don't have anything
now see,
to do, Robert.
I done told. See, this is why I done told all y'all. It's a bunch of black people with shows on YouTube, but there's no blacker show than Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. Ain't none. Ain't no other show. Okay, all right. Lorraine's Sweet For You says, Robert is on the market, folks. Robert is shooting his shot, figuratively and literally. I will never underestimate Robert Patillo ever again. Tracy Logan 7297. Hey Robert, I'm looking for a flamethrower.
so just so y'all know,
I'm not making this up. These are literal.
This is important for the women out there. I like big women. So there ain't nothing a skinny woman can do for me but introduce me to your friend. I got nothing for you. 210s where the fun begins. I got nothing out there for the small or medium size. We're dealing with fuel efficient SUVs here. We're not out here for no Priuses. We're not out here for no Teslas. We're out here for real material that we can make a life out of. So hit me on the website.
Okay, so we're gonna end this thing on this.
Roland Martin love connection.
We gonna. No,
I think we killed Rebecca.
We're going to. So Gabby in the control room made this for us to close this out. Let's see, y'all always get mad at me saying, Roland, why you always calling the control room out? Gabby gets a gold star for the quickness, for moving quickly. Great job, Gabby, with the Robert Patillo flamethrower graphic. Oh my God. With that, it's time to end this charade. This has been, and we all should blame Rebecca. She is the one who started all of this, talking about Robert's Haitian roots, and now all of a sudden we have had to contend with the absolute craziness and weapons display of Robert Patillo. Okay. All right, I might have to borrow that flamethrower because there are some people who I want to roast with that flamethrower my damn self. Okay, all right. We gotta go. Let me thank Derek. Let me thank Rebecca, and let me thank Robert Flamethrowing Patillo for being on today's show. Y'all, I take it this segment should absolutely get us at least 1 million views on YouTube. I'm just saying.
Overtime.
I'm just saying. All right, y'all, thank you so very much for the second time. All right, y'all, if y'all want to support Roland Martin, see, y'all, this is why you support this show. I'm telling you, you're not getting this. You will never, ever see that on ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, MS Now, CNN, Fox News. Ain't going to happen. You ain't going to see nobody else's show. This is why we keep it real. We keep it black. We keep it straight. We keep it unfiltered. Simple as that. Oh, my goodness. All right, support this show. Support the multiple shows on the Black Star Network. Contribute via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. That's for credit cards as well. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com for ways to give. Somebody said this show is lit. You are absolutely right. Checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get out Roland Martin Unfiltered swag. And yes, I guarantee you, Keenan is already at work. Maybe he'll be working with Gabby. We are going to have to do a Robert Patillo shirt. Maybe, I don't know. We need to come up with it. Keenan, send me some ideas. We keep it hot on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I don't know. Keenan, come up. You're going to come up with it. Trust me. Don't be surprised if we have that T-shirt available tomorrow on shopblackstarnetwork.com. If y'all want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, shopblackstarnetwork.com. Hats, T-shirts, mug, all that sort of good stuff. Trust me, y'all, there's going to be a Robert Patillo T-shirt that's going to happen. All these products here are black-owned products. They're on our website, shopblackstarnetwork.com. When you buy the product, you support this show as well. Get the Fanbase app. You can follow me there at Roland S. Martin. Y'all certainly appreciate it. That's it for us. My God, I will see y'all tomorrow right here on the Absolute Blackest Show. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have these shirts too. So y'all see here, this the chair, hashtag team up that ass. This is what's on the back of the shirt. You see it right here. So I think the shirts, Keenan let me know, I think the shirts are on our shopblackstuddnetwork.com. If they're not on there, they're gonna be on there tomorrow. All right, y'all, that's it. Blackest Show everywhere. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow.